Right.
You understand?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know that, then that's what I'm gonna continue to do. So if I do that, plant that seed in 100 people, I got 100 million.
Right.
So it's not about me personally what I need, but when I need it, I'm gonna call on you because you know what? That's what we need to do, in our culture and our community as a whole. Like I think that's, I don't know if it's a culinary world, if it's a farming world, if it's the consultant world, if it's in the IT world, whatever world you're in, we need to build off each other more, as opposed to expecting something in return.
Dope.
I think that's the biggest thing for me, and our culture that we don't do enough of. We don't do enough of feeding back into the people and getting that. It's not about giving with something with something back in return. I think it's giving with a purpose and understanding it's bigger than where I'm at.
Chef Kim, responsibility of black chefs today. How do you feel?
I kind of agree with Aaron. Like we gotta help. We have to help them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it's definitely an age gap between us and the Instagram chef. There's an age gap, but what they're doing actually works for them, for where they are in their life right now. But I just feel that when things change and trends change, it's always going to come back to classic.
Always going to come back.
So come back to classic.
Yeah, so
It's always come back to classic. It's going to be full circle, right? So, not that everyone has to go to culinary school. I don't believe that you do. I know some pretty dope self-taught chefs, but they're because they was in the restaurant industry for so long. So they didn't go to school, but the restaurant was their school.
Right. They
grew up in restaurants, and so they got trained, and this, and that would have been you had you not gone to school.
Right.
Because you're very in the restaurant industry anyway.
Well, I was already cooking before I went to school.
So his chef liked him so much, he put him through school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got things like that. So I believe that if we can kind of connect with the millennials, they feed off of us, we feed off of them, and we own that and create our own circle of that, we can be so dope. Absolutely. Across the board. So dope. Because I don't knock them, they just don't know any better. You know, that's what they know right now. That's what's selling right now. Like you said, I sold 100 plates today. I made $1,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking care of my family. No, because right now they gotta take care. What it is that you got the millennials that don't want to work for nobody. So they're gonna do whatever they have to do, whatever it takes to feed their family. And if I gotta fucking make shrimp and grits and do 1,500 plates or do 200 plates in 2 weeks, that's going to be money in my pocket to feed my family. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care if it ain't got no garnish on it. They eating it. They like it. It tastes good to them. They don't care about presentation. I'm winning.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. And they are winning in their world. In their world, they're winning. But when it comes down to, like we all said, do you know the food costs? Are you really making money?
Right.
Or are you just re-putting into, or are you re-upping your product to sell again in the drug world?
Dope.
You know what I'm saying?
It's still dope.
We sell dope. We sell dope. Whether it's classically trained
it is.
or you Instagram.
You're still selling dope.
So, great conversation today, guys. My answer to that is, what's up?
Not to cut you off, I do want to bring up, so I put a post up yesterday about tipping.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah?
About tipping. So when you go to a restaurant and you tip your waiter or your bartender, this, that, and the third, do we all know where tipping came from?
The history of gratuity.
Right.
Wow.
And I'm going to let you rock with that because, you know what I'm saying? Me and you had this conversation yesterday, so I'll let you rock with that.
So back when we were slaves and we had masters and we cooked in the houses, this and the third, and they would go out, the slave master or those people felt that instead of giving black workers a salary or pay, they would just tip them. And they would tip them because they always wanted them to feel like this is all you're going to get, this is all you're worth. You're not worth more than this. You're serving me, and so I'm going to tip you for serving me. So they, from some way back then, they took away that we earned that money. We earned that money. We did a great job. We earned that money. We earned our paycheck. We earned this. Now, I'm going to tip you because, you know, this is what you're supposed to do. Right. So they try to brainwash them to tipping was their pay. because they didn't have to give them a wage or a salary.
How it evolved,
and
was when you had after slavery during Reconstruction, when black people were now working in service roles. You know what I'm saying? The people who owned the restaurants or what have you would subsidize their income, so they would pay them less than what they should have paid
less
them,
than minimum wage,
and depend on, you know what I'm saying, the people who were tipping to subsidize that salary and that income, and it got very frowned upon by people who went to these restaurants, but the restaurant owners back then pushed for it, so that's why it had become the norm.
Right.
If you think about it, if you think about it, if you're in any type of the restaurant industry or hospitality at all, you know for a fact, and again, no shade to any cultures. I'm just talking. Europeans, when they come to America,
they don't tip.
They don't tip.
Because that's not their culture.
It's cultural, exactly.
It's not their culture.
It's cultural. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, we don't understand.
And the reason they don't understand because I was in Italy, they get paid a good salary, but you ain't got to tip them.
Absolutely.
So the salary speaks for itself. They don't have to get, so they don't tip.
If you go to any Caribbean island and you go to a resort, which is there's a whole like history about that, because if you go to a lot of places in the Caribbean and different places and resorts and so on, there are a lot of black people serving Europeans, and at those resorts they do not tip. They frown upon tipping. The resort will say you can't tip. We don't accept tips and so forth and so on.
Because they cater to the European culture.
Right. So that's a whole rabbit hole.
But then we go over there and we tip them like, yo, and they give us more stuff and this and the third because it's a cultural thing.
And I don't want people to walk away from this and say, hey, don't tipping was the slave. The man did. I don't want people to think like that, because I feel as if that people that gratuity is needed in the service industry and so forth and so on. I don't like where it came from. Like we don't like where a lot of things in our culture came from, but. With that said, like this is the history behind it, and I hope that people take that and keep that into consideration when they go out. You know what I'm saying?
Man, tip your service, man. Tip your service, man. Tip your bartenders.
I'm gonna say this. At
the end of the day, like nobody knows what my grandfather is almost 80 years old. I told him about 5 years ago how much servers make and how much bartenders make. He never knew. He's 80. He never knew how much. He goes, I feel so bad now. How many people had it stiffed? I said, yeah, because that's what it. Because honestly, that's what it was. It was thinking like you don't know how much that person's getting made. I've seen people, and I've had servers that made no money, and it's terrible because they had just poor service, like period. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like they average out. You average out during the month. You make it good. You make a decent. You make a decent, not great. You make a decent amount of money. So at the end of the day, like. But there's still taxes and things that come along with that. So it's
my saying is this. You know what I mean? I want to end this right here in saying that, if you go out and you buy a pair of Jordans at a sneaker store, you go out and you buy a pair of Louboutins at Nordstrom's or whatever, like the person who's selling you, that person's helping you out, is getting a commission. They're getting a tip. You know what I'm saying?
It's just building to the salary.
And you more adamant about making sure that person gets that commission because you don't know no better. But when you sit in a restaurant, somebody's serving you your food, something you put in your body, you're questioning about whether you should give this person a tip. And I think we need to think about that.
Absolutely.
We're more willing to give commissions and tips to people who put clothes on our back, but we don't know that that's a back-end commission that they're getting. But we're less inclined to
the people that
serve person that's serving you
bring your food and make you get your food on time and it's hot. And take care of your table and give you water and cater to you, you feel like you shouldn't tip them.
So that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But in conclusion, for me, I just feel as if when I asked the question about responsibility of black chefs, the main thing, we can cook, we can do whatever we want to do, we can learn the numbers, but we need to educate ourselves a little bit more. I think that black chefs need to know who the Chef Hercules of the world, who was George Washington's chef, and the Chef Ernest's, and so forth and so on. I got a book here, Rufus Estes. This is one of the first black post-slave cookbooks to ever be written. You understand what I'm saying? This is a cookbook from a former slave. You understand what I'm saying? That wrote his own cookbook, and you go into it. It ain't no pound of this and a cup of this. You put a little bit of this and you put a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? But this is a good read. This is a good read right here. I challenge every single black chef to read this book and go through it and look at these recipes. You know what I'm saying? And I keep saying in conclusion, but as we wrap this all up. Chef Aaron, you got 30 seconds, bro. Look at the camera. What you got going on?
So definitely doing consulting for sure. That's my number one. That's my bread and butter. Helping brands and organizations build their corporation and understanding what they need. The other thing is I still do catering for sure. Get ready to launch an online catering. Probably March, beginning of March, maybe the middle of March. That's going to be strictly kitchen to the person, and then I'm doing meal preps as well.
Got it. How can people get in contact with you?
How can we contact you?
I'm at Mr. Gadson on IG. That's the best way to get me.
Spell your name for them.
That's Mr.Gadson.
Mr. Gadson.
Best way.
Aaron Gadson. Follow him on Instagram. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Aaron Gadson on Facebook.
Aaron Gadson on Facebook.
Yep. Chef Kimberly, what you got going on?
My nonprofit is about to kick off in a huge way. I'm happy about it. It's called Chef, CHEF, stands for Cook Healthy, Eat Fresh. To teach the kids how to cook, to teach the kids how to learn about home ec, how to iron clothes, just that home economical background that we're going to bring back to the school system. I'm proud of that. It's been the baby I've been nursing for 2 years. I'm about to give birth in a couple of weeks to that. And definitely catering. I'm focusing more on weddings. That's going to be my go-to. Weddings, high-end cocktail parties, wedding receptions, this, that, and the third. I am a preferred vendor with the Oxon Hill Manor facility
Prince
and
George's
all
County.
there. And Prince George's County, I'm in that system as a vendor as well for all the public school systems. And just doing what I do, and we're going to push forward.
And with me, the book project is in the works. The documentary project is in the works. I'm about to do it big in 2020. I'm very happy about that. I sit on a board with the Chef nonprofit, so we rocking that out. And I just encourage every single chef and every single chef of color, any nationality, any ethnicity. Research the food culture that you came from. Research it. Know what you're cooking and why you're cooking it. A lot of people out here cooking, but they don't know why. Go back, research. If you're a black chef, research. Jewish, Italian, whatever. Know your history, know your culture when it comes to food. Just don't try to get out here and jump out the window and do anything because, this is a chef culture and we need to preserve it. All right? Chef Henry Dudley, Chef Kimberly VanKline, Chef Aaron Gadson in the building.
Thank you,
again.
Aaron.
This is the Chef Gang Podcast, and remember, this is our kitchen, but you're always welcome.
The chef adds final touches, their pièce de résistance. The sauces of rare herbs and wines are concocted by an ageless alchemy known only to these custodians of the culinary art.